Aloha, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Kunani Patrol, the podcast with the goal of creating a community of optimal human beings. I am your host, Mikuni Moonsayak, and today's optimal human being is Jonathan Sucaldito AKA Jon Cozy. Cozy, brother Cozy, please introduce yourself to the listeners.
What up? This is John, aka Jon Cozy. I am from Makakilo, Hawaii, on the island of Oahu, from the hill. You know what I mean? I am a beat maker, DJ, rapper. Sometimes I don't know, semi-retired. I don't be really rapping that much anymore, but I still try to do it for fun. Especially I got like rapper friends that want to rap too. Then when I see them doing it, I want to do it too. And what else am I? What did I say? Oh,
Rapper.
rapper, artist. I do some graffiti here and there. And I am a Brazilian JiuJitsu practitioner as well. I'm almost a year in. I still got my white belt, but I'm super stoked on that journey as well. And yeah, what's up, guys? What's up, Cooney? Thanks for having me on.
Brother Cozy, bro, I'm so glad that you're here. I've been listening to your shit since high school, to be completely honest.
Really?
Yeah, bro, I've been listening to your shit since high school. I think you graduated what, 05, 06?
Oh, 06.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm 09,
2006.
and I was listening to fucking Ill Hill Society when you guys made that one song, Your World or My World.
You're My World.
You're My World. Oh, that fucking song
Everybody
is
loved that song.
fucking
So, oh
fire.
yeah, me and Cooney went to the same high school, yo. That's
Yes,
crazy.
sir. 808 State represent. Shout out to
Yeah,
everyone in Kapolei, all the Makakilowins, and the 96707. What's up?
Cap City represent, bruh.
You're still in Makakilo right
Yeah,
now?
hold on. Yeah, I'm still here. Man, you brought up Ill Hill and You're My World. That was like a popping song for us because it was so like we were in that like girl crazy phase, you know. So we were writing all these like corny love songs for girls, you know, try and get us some action and stuff. And like people love that song.
Bro,
And that's kind of what we were known for when we first started rapping. I kind of look back at it now, it's like, oh, that's some corny stuff. But I mean, you know, that was like one step on the path that I took, I guess.
that
That
shit
was
still goes
help.
hard, man.
Yeah.
I had that song on repeat, like repeat for like a while. Yeah.
It's a nice song. I'll put on the beat every now and then and just like rap it in my car because it makes me feel good, you know.
Yeah.
Because like the lyrics came from an honest place. It's kind of corny, but it did come from like an honest place, you know.
That's,
And I kind of miss that, to be honest. Yeah.
I feel like the best songs are the ones that really come from that genuine expression. Because I dabble with some poetry and I used to write songs and
Mm,
shit, but like it's always when you have that real emotional connection to the lyrics when you can really compose something nice, and especially when you perform it too, like you have that all that emotional connection with your.
yeah, dude, that's one thing I missed. Like pre-COVID, the live performances. That was, I don't know what, maybe it's like an adrenaline rush, but I was thinking about this yesterday. I kind of compare the feeling of coming off stage of a good performance after a good role, you know, in jiu-jitsu. It's the same like it's, oh man, it's over with. I'm done. I did this stuff. And then you also like kind of try to chill out and like reflect on like what happened or what could be done better, what I did good. It's kind of the same thing. So I made that connection yesterday and I thought it was like really profound.
That's dope. I mean, it's about the same thing. I mean, especially when you compete too, like especially with all the eyes on you and you have all that.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know how it feels when you're on stage and everyone's looking like you're trying to tune in, but yet again you're still feeding off of all the energy around you at the same time. Like,
Yeah. The energy from the crowd is definitely a big part of like a rap performance. I wonder if it's the same for, well, okay, in the MMA, it's, is it as much the crowd as it is the two people fighting, or do you kind of tune out the crowd?
yeah, bro, you tune out everything outside. I wish I was more aware. My best fights are the ones where I'm more aware of everything that's happening around me.
Uh,
When I'm too tuned in to just my opponent and I'm not aware of everything, like I feel like I'm not as efficient. I'm not as in the moment because I'm kind of too
mm,
nervous and worried about like what's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel it.
Fucking trip.
I see.
Let's go back to your jujitsu thing. How did you get started with that, bro?
Okay, so the jiu-jitsu thing, this was like right after COVID hit. I think when did everything start closing down? I think last year around April. So April 2020, everything started shutting down. I remember going to the gym. I was going to the gym and then the doors were closed and there was a sign on the thing that said, "Oh, we're gonna be shut down for whatever." And I was like, "Oh no, it's starting to happen." And then so like months go by and I haven't been working out. I've been trying to like do stuff like at home, like calisthenics and stuff. I ended up getting a jump rope,
Hey.
which is something I never really got into, but I got like super into jump rope. And I found this like this is a tangent, but I started discovering like a community of YouTubers that were solely like jump rope, like they were like jump rope YouTubers, dude. And I was like, oh my God, there's like tutorials on jumping rope. And I didn't know you could do like so much different things with a jump rope, dude. It's crazy. Like these guys got like hundreds of videos on jumping rope. It's insane. So anyway, I got into that, trying to get fit, and then just like I wanted to step it up. And then I started getting interested in like learning something new, like versus just like lifting weights and stuff. I wanted something like difficult to do because honestly, I was just getting bored. And I feel like okay, I was in like a place, like kind of a dark place, and I needed to find it. I was like looking for a way out, right? And I started looking at like all these different things. Like I even looked up kendo classes, bro. Like I want to learn kendo. I was like, okay, kendo looks like something I could get into. But a lot of these schools, because of the COVID, they shut down and they were only doing like online Zoom classes. And I was like, no, I need something where it like gets me like moving and interacting with people and stuff like that. And I remembered that one of my friends that I followed on Instagram, he goes by the name of Genesis, and he would post like himself in the gi and stuff. And I think he entered a tournament and stuff like that. So I DM'd him like, dude, do you still do that jujitsu stuff? And like he wrote back like a wall of text because I guess he got like super excited that I wanted to get into jujitsu. And then he brought me to my first class. Of my birthday too, because it was like August, like the first or second week of August, and I took the class. I got worked, and I loved it, dude. And ever since I joined, and then I just, I kept, wanting to train ever since. Unfortunately, though, like after a month in, they ended up having to close the school because I guess they were open illegally under the, I don't know, the shutdown rules or whatever. So it was like a really sporadic schedule with the training and stuff. And so I kept doing that. I got a stripe on my white belt, but eventually I was only training like 3 days a week. And I wanted more because I wanted more. I was like, I want to train every day. So I ended up buying mats. I ended up buying mats from like, it was so hard to find mats that ship to Hawaii, dude. Because I don't know why the shipping things or whatever, it's like ridiculously expensive or they don't ship to Hawaii at all. But I ended up finding some on Amazon and I got the mats, and I think I forgot. I gotta ask Brandon, but you know Brandon, yeah.
Yeah.
So I forgot. I think I remembered. Oh, that's right. I remembered. We trained at in his garage one time, like a few years ago. You know about Brandon's garage, yeah?
Hell yeah,
you
bro.
guys used
That
to
was the
train,
spot,
right?
Brandon's garage. Fuck yeah.
Yes. So this was like 20. I forgot. This was a while ago, but I went there one night and I remembered that. So I think I hit him up to tell him that I'm getting into jujitsu and that I wanted to know if he wanted to like, show me some stuff. And then same thing happened. He got like super excited, but I guess he hasn't like trained in years or whatever. And I think he started getting like because he saw that I started doing it. It's like, okay, now he wants to start training. So our friend Brandon and who else? Jason, our friend Jason, they would come over on the weekends for that like extra credit because I could only train like 2 or 3 times a week at the school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just having Brandon and Jason come over to train with me kind of made me like, okay, I want to really get into this. And yeah, they helped me a lot, man. Like outside of the school, like because I was tripping out the first time that he came over to like roll with me on the mats. I had no idea what I was doing at that point. I think I was only a few months in, dude, because like I have no like I think I know what jujitsu looks like, and then I'll try, but no, I don't. And then like just the way he was like teaching me stuff, he was like grabbing my limbs and moving them for me. No, you want it here, you want it here, and I was like, yo, this guy, because I knew Brandon from partying, you know what I mean? Like, so I didn't know this side of him, like how like knowledgeable he was of like jujitsu and judo and stuff like that. I mean, it was
Brandon's a
just like
fucking
tripping me out. And
wizard,
it was
dude.
like,
Brandon's like the most undercover martial arts wizard that I know, bro. It's a trip.
yeah, he was like, because I never seen like he would talk so fast. It's like, you know how somebody talks about something that like like he knows his shit, or he knows his stuff, because like it's just coming out of him like a stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
And the way it's like, oh no, this way. It was weird because he would like be pulling my arms and stuff, like, oh, you want it over here or there, or you got to do this, like making adjustments and showing me like the right way to do stuff. And fast forward to today, man, we both ended up joining. So I ended up moving schools. We both ended up joining the same jiu-jitsu school, United BJJ. You're probably familiar with our coaches because you were talking about one earlier. So our coaches are Bruno Pucci and
shit.
Angela Lee.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, so I'm at their school now, and that's a whole other world from my last school. Like the guys in our classes, like they like to go at it,
like level up.
Yeah, and just there's a lot more. They like to focus on. They spend a lot of time on sparring, which I like. It's kind of 50-50, like drilling, and then the rest of the class is sparring. And that's, yeah, the intensity of it is like, sometimes it's really hard to get myself to like go to the class just because I'm like thinking about, oh man, I'm gonna get beat up today.
I'm gonna get work today, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna get work today. But then I'm in the shower, I'm like, okay, today I'm gonna choose violence. And then I just go to class and always end up feeling great afterwards.
That's what's up.
And yeah, that's where I'm at today. Currently with the whole jiu-jitsu journey stuff.
Well, welcome to the jiu-jitsu rabbit hole, because once you go down the jiu-jitsu rabbit hole, bro, there's no coming back, bro.
Dude, I want to know like the history between, because we all went to the same school, right? And you guys were all into the martial arts back then. And I've heard some stories about like Brandon's garage. I was wondering if you got any, like, what was your history with the training and stuff?
Okay, Brandon's like, he had a warehouse in Campbell, and I don't know what his family owned in that warehouse, but it was like a big open space, and he had like these judo mats, like these rollout judo mats, that the stackable ones that he just had in the warehouse, and then we would lay them out, and then he would teach us like basic freaking MMA techniques, like basic striking to basic takedowns, and then like super basic submissions, and then we do some sparring after. And then we had like a group of guys. It was like an interesting group of people that we had over there. It was me and Brandon, and then like, I don't know if you remember, like Sean Guillory, I think, was over there, and then fucking who else was over there? Some of my like white boyfriends, like Robbie Boxstein, and I think Trey Del Fiero was over there. And yeah, we just fucking dicked around and just did some like MMA sparring and shit.
It's like a little fight club after
yeah,
school.
a little fight club type shit. It was never anything super serious, like super consistent, like something that we were going to turn it into a career. It's just something we did for fun a little bit. I think it was after high school, so that was around 09, like 2010ish. Yeah, because at that time I was already doing amateur boxing in Hawaii too. Like after our party days, for me it was spring break 09. Spring break 09 was like the craziest, partiest, most like worst decision I ever made. And,
a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. So after spring break of 09, I got my shit together and I started taking training seriously and doing the boxing thing. And then yeah, and then I ended up linking up with Brandon. But yeah, ever since, like, because I knew him since elementary school, bro. Like since we were in like 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I never really knew that he was into martial arts and shit. And the next
Yeah,
thing I
he grew
know,
up
like,
doing judo.
yeah, dude, he's a beast.
Yeah. Which
And
I just learned. I didn't know he was, yeah, I didn't know he grew up doing judo. But I guess so what I learned too is that like when you're because it's like a very family oriented sport. So the parents like to put their kids into it at a young age. And when you put your kids into something like that at a young age, they end up kind of growing to resent the sport. So I
Hmm.
guess they don't really talk about it as much. So because I found out a bunch of like my other friends kind of had the same story where they grew up doing something, but they were just kids, they just want to fuck around and like play
Yeah.
video games or like do other stuff. But then they were forced to do this, so they kind of like it's like I don't want to do, you know.
Yeah, they build up like that negative reinforcement towards it, even though they're good at it, but they were kind of like forced onto it rather than being let to enjoy life as a kid.
Yeah, which I kind of looking back at it now, I kind of wish I got into this stuff a long time ago.
Fucking A, me too, bro. I just got into
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu fucking 20, when the fuck did I move here? 2016? Like 5 years ago, just 5 years ago.
Oh, I don't know. I always figured you did it longer. I don't know.
I was into martial arts, but I was like
Yeah.
my initial impression of jiu-jitsu was that shit's gay, bro. I don't want to be rolling around on the
Yeah,
floor,
that's what. Yeah,
all sweaty,
that's like I remember
fucking.
when like the UFC was first showing on like I think it was on like on Spike TV and stuff. I would hear comments like that about people watching. It was like, why are we watching this? Why are we watching this? Like whatever. But now it's like,
Now it's the shit, bro. And
yeah,
once you get into it, dude, and you realize like how alignment is so important, like the techniques, how they flow from one thing to the next, and just positioning of the body and fucking hey, dude, jiu-jitsu is so crazy. And it's so
yeah.
amazing that you can do with
That's
two.
another thing that bugs me out. I was like reflecting on it yesterday too because I have a hard time. I'm not like, okay, for example, like Brandon. Brandon will like look at a clip of somebody doing a move on like Instagram and then pull it off on me the next day. He just like understands it that well. But me, I'll like look at it and I'll think I understand it. And then when it comes to like executing it on the mat, I'm just like, okay, which arm is which? Like I'm so disconnected from my body, dude. Even when like my coach is telling me to move my left arm, I have to like think for like a split second. Okay, my left arm, or does he mean this arm because he's facing that way? I don't know, but yeah. So that whole mind body connection is something that I'm having kind of a hard time adjusting to, but something that I feel I need to grasp, I guess, and that's something I need to like. I'm really trying to like work on, is because coming from my history of like stuff that I was into, like hobbies or stuff that I wanted to get good at. A lot of it wasn't, maybe bare minimum was like using my body. For example, like DJing, I just had to use my hands.
Mhm.
Everything else like happens up here and
Mhm.
like by feeling or whatever. And even rapping, rapping on stage was something that I had to really like learn because I was really good at rapping into a microphone, but then moving around on stage and being able to like
Stage
express
presence.
myself at the same way. It's that whole mind body connection thing. And yeah, that's one thing that kind of bugs me out because like jujitsu, I feel like is one of the best examples of that thing where like you're trying to, well, first off, you're trying to like strangle somebody, right? So you got to use your mind in sync with your body, but then also there's a whole other person trying to do the same thing to you, and I'm like, oh, that shit's so crazy to me.
And then
Like,
that same person knows the move you're gonna do and is 3 steps ahead of you because he already knows the two different reactions you're gonna do.
yeah, it's like what the heck, people compare it to chess, but I feel like it's not really that much. Like, it's kind of like chess where like
Physical
the
chess,
steps
bro.
ahead.
It's
Yeah,
physical
I feel
chess.
it's like, you ever see like that 3D chess where it's like chess on like 1, 2, 3 different planes, or the guys that play chess against like 12 different people at the same time. I feel like it's more like that. It's like some gnarly version of chess where you can get your arm ripped off or cut.
That's twisted, bro. Dude, it's so cerebral. That's what's amazing about jujitsu because, like you said, there's the whole mind-body connection of just making sure you're using the right limb and wedging your arm in the right place. And then there's the cerebral
Yeah.
part of, okay, I'm gonna do this move, he's gonna react this way, and I'm gonna catch him in this process. And then there's the
Yeah.
whole cerebral process of understanding concepts as far as body positioning and It's fucking
Yeah, and even just like how much pressure to put like your weight. Like I feel like I'm a pretty big dude. Like I'm like 200 pounds right now walking around. But when I was first starting out jujitsu, people said they didn't feel my weight. And I was like, well, you don't feel my weight? I guess what I'm like lying on top of you, but you don't feel my weight. You know, and that's like it's one thing is like you gotta learn, and that's you gotta learn by just doing it. And that it's like little things like that that kind of like trip me out like in jiu-jitsu. Like I didn't know like the human body could
Bro, I
like
feel like
do
we could
stuff
geek
like that,
out
you
about
know.
jujitsu and turn this whole fucking podcast into jujitsu. But part of the reason why I wanted you on here was to talk about like the creative art side and stuff. So like
Yeah.
I want to inspire because I mean there's probably a bunch of people at home who are just fucking stuck and maybe have all this creative energy in them and they don't really know how to get started. So maybe if they're listening to this shit, we can get them inspired. So how did you get started
Yeah.
with like creative arts, like with writing and poetry and beat making and all that shit?
Okay, writing and poetry. This goes back to man when I was like, I need to ask my mom about like she said I would start reading at like a really young age, and my earliest memories go all the way back to like when I was I don't know, I was probably under 5. I don't know how old I was when I started reading, but I remember being in San Diego. I was born in Hawaii, but I think I moved to San Diego before I was like a year old, and then I grew up there until like my elementary years. So I remember being in San Diego, and my mom had these she bought these like just encyclopedia set. You know, those like I
Oh
forgot
yeah,
what they're
yeah,
called
yeah,
in
yeah.
Carta or whatever. They
The
would order it
brown
from the
books, and
mail.
they're like brown and gold and shit.
Yeah, I will. Ours ones, I think they're brown and gold or they're green and gold. I remember green, but they had just like an entire set of encyclopedias, and I would read those. And there was also like a kids version of this by the same company, and they had a lot of like fairy tales and like short stories and poems and stuff. So I would read a lot of those. So I started reading at an early age, and then when it came around to I want to say middle school, when they started introducing us to like Greek literature, you know, like talking about like the gods and stuff, like the Greek pantheon,
Greek
whatever.
mythology,
And
yeah, bro.
Greek mythology. That's the word I was looking for. I was like, what's that word?
I got you.
Yeah, Greek mythology and stuff. And there's I always thought that was really cool. And in that same class where we were learning about like literature and stuff, we would start doing like poetry. So I would like write little poetry like here and there. I got really into so in middle school, that's when I like really discovered rap music. Well, towards the ending of elementary school, I was listening to like stuff I shouldn't be listening to, but like Eminem and Tupac were like my shit, dude, and
Hey.
Bone Thugs. But so I got like really, I don't know, for whatever reason, I got really into like Tupac and like almost sort of idolized him, and I started looking into his other stuff beyond rap music. So he ended up writing they published like a book of poetry, like posthumously, I think, called A Rose That Grew from Concrete. I think that's what it was called. It's been years, but I'd read the poems in there and I'd try to like emulate like his style of writing in the because like a lot of his poetry were kind of like written like raps. You
Mhm.
know, they weren't like you know like classical poetry is kind of weird to read, right? And not a lot of it like rhymes or whatever. But then Tupac's poetry was like they were kind of like raps where they rhymed at the end, so it was a little easier for me to consume and emulate. So I started writing like him, and so I'd write like little raps in middle school with no intentions of ever like performing them. I just thought it was cool. Like, okay, let me just like write this stuff. I'd write like little love poems. Oh, a funny story. My uncle had a girlfriend in middle school. Oh, not a girlfriend in middle school. I was in middle school. And my uncle had a girlfriend, and he was like really, I don't know, he was really trying to butter her up, and he would pay me to write her love poems.
Hey.
So I'd like write little love poems for his girlfriend just so he could get like brownie points or whatever. So that's how I got started, like writing lyrics and stuff. But I didn't start rapping until after high school, dog. Like I want to say this was like around 2007 or 2008ish when I heard my friend on the radio. Like my friend I don't know if you know Kevin Ritchie. He goes by qualified. He graduated the same class as me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He graduated the same class as me, and he has a very distinct voice. And I was listening to the radio one time, and I heard his voice. And I haven't talked to him in like years because this was after high school, and we didn't really like connect outside of high school. And I texted him like, "Yo, is this you on the radio?" And he was like, "Oh yeah." And I was like, "What?" And at the same time, I was already like, I've been DJing since my sophomore year of high school, right? So like 2003ish, I got really heavy into DJing just because I saw some like scratching videos. It was actually, oh, Linkin Park, the song Crawling.
Yeah.
Mr. Han, the DJ in Linkin Park, was like scratching in the music video. I was like, oh, that looks cool. I want to try and do that. So that's kind of how I got into DJing. And damn, I got lost. Where was I? How I got started rapping, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, how I started rapping. So I was already into DJing and I was interested in beat making. And then I heard Quali on the radio. So now the idea popped into my head that, okay, if I'm not gonna rap, maybe I could like make some beats for a rapper, So that's how me and Quali ended up linking up, and I was like playing him beats and stuff. And for one of the beats, so he came over one day and I was playing him some beats. And before he came over, I was like fucking around on the beats, and I was listening to the beats, and I was just like, let me try and write a rap. Let me just try and write a rap to this. And then when Quali came over, he played the beat, and then it was like, I told Quali, like, yo, dude, I tried to write a rap, kind of like, you want to hear it? And then I spit the rap for him, thinking that I was terrible. That's like the first time I ever rapped for anybody ever in my life. And he told me, hey, yeah, that was pretty good. And then, he said it really nonchalantly, but in my head, I was like, whoa, it was pretty good. Maybe I could try and do this too. So we ended up making a song that day. And that was like the first Ill Hill song.
Hey.
Yeah, that was the first Ill Hill song. And then ever since then, I just kept making beats, kept DJing, and then started rapping. That's how I got into it. It was because of Quali, because Quali told me that. I was like, hey, that was pretty good.
That's amazing how just something like that small, just that little small belief, that kind of energy boosted your confidence and like exponentially increased to what you are today.
Yeah, and that's a pattern that I've seen happen over again recently. I think I'm the kind of person that says, oh, if I could do it a little bit okay, then maybe I could take it further, kind of like the jiu-jitsu. I was like, okay, I survived this one day, maybe I could do it further. And then even with the art, I was like, I think a lot of stuff is just like getting your reps in, right? But it's hard for a lot of people to take the first step. But if you just make taking that first step easier, then you'll open yourself up more to like a lot of things, because a lot of people are very hesitant on taking that kind of step. Whereas me, I try not to hesitate. I kind of, to my detriment sometimes, because I'll get into stuff that just doesn't work out. But I feel like, it doesn't hurt to try, just taking that first step. It doesn't hurt to take like one step. You could always like say no, you know what I'm saying? You could always like just stop doing something if it's not good for you or if it doesn't work out. But I feel like more people should just like kind of jump in sometimes. I call it throwing the baby in the water.
Just throw the baby in the water and let it swim.
Throw the baby in the water. I heard something. That's why like babies know how to instinctually swim. I don't know where I heard it from. It's probably from like Twitter or somebody's Facebook post. Like, I don't know if there's actually any studies behind that, but I did hear that if a baby is thrown into the water, it'll instinctually know how to swim for whatever reason. And I think they tie it back to humans, like, pre-evolution being like aquatic or something like that. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Dude, I think humans are extremely powerful and we're capable of a lot more. It's just we allow ourselves to get stuck in our head and have all these doubts and say like worried about what people are going to think and all that, just all that fucking bullshit that goes on.
Oh, like what other people think, right? Yeah, that's a big thing.
People are too afraid to just even try and just take the first step like you're talking about. And if they were to just put more effort into trying new things and fucking, like you said, even if it doesn't work out, at least you have the experience that you did it and you tried something. and you have the wisdom behind it, and then you can find out what it is that you like when you try other shit. But you're not going to find out what it is that you really like are passionate about unless you try all the different things.
Yeah, like how do you know you're into rock climbing if you've never done it, you know?
Exactly.
Right?
What a trip.
That was one thing I tried to get into.
This shit's fun too, dude. That shit's
The
hard.
indoor rock climbing.
That shit's very hard. Very challenging. Bro, like, how did you went through this crazy transformation out of nowhere? Like, I remember you back in high school, you were a little bigger, and then out of nowhere, you fucking got super jacked, and now you're into jujitsu. So, like, you want to talk a little bit about your transformation? And
Yeah, so I was like almost, I think when you knew the last time you see me, I was probably pushing like 290. I know I hit 300 pounds. So when I was I was almost 300 pounds at one point, and this was when I was like rapping and stuff, and I was performing a lot with my boy Josh, Decibel Grand. You know Josh, yeah.
Yeah. Dombrowski.
Yeah. So me and him were in a rap group called the Horror Show. We were just two big dudes, bro. Like it was fun. And that one kind of popped off locally, like that act. And so we were performing a lot. So we were on stage and jumping around and stuff, you know, getting sweaty and fucking gassed. And I was 300 pounds. He was like, you know, it gets tough, right? So one day, yeah, it gets tough doing that when you weigh that much, dog. And so one day I woke up and my feet hurt. My feet hurt, and it was like it just came out of nowhere. It felt like, because I've had tendonitis in my Achilles before, and it felt like that. But then when I get to the doctor, like got it checked out, we ran some blood tests. Turns out that I had gout. Ugh, that shit sucks. It wasn't bad gout because I looked at it, like I googled gout and I was like, yo, this shit looks crazy, but it doesn't look like my foot looked normal, but it was just swollen. But the pain was like 1 out of 10 is like a 15, dog. I could not walk. It was hard to walk. I remember there's pictures of me somewhere. Me and Josh had to go do an interview for a magazine because we got nominated for the Nahoku Hano Hano Awards. Yeah, and we did an interview, and in the picture of the interview, I'm on fucking crutches.
Oof.
So like, they told me that I would have gout. Gout is something like you have for life. You kind of just gotta. Is that true?
No, bro. That's
like you just gotta control it. You could always get it.
Okay, so from my understanding, gout is a buildup of crystals. So when you eat too much protein, if your body doesn't digest it and the protein doesn't go towards like muscle protein synthesis or towards any other bodily functions, crystals kind of develop in your body, and it doesn't digest and go like it doesn't get digested and peed out. So it kind of builds up in the joints and it crystallizes in the joints. So if you're eating too much meat and you're not eating enough vegetables and you're not exercising enough, that's when gout can happen in the joints. But I don't think
so it's not
once you have it, it's manageable. I don't think it's something you'll have for life.
Oh, okay. I was misinformed then because he said I was always have it. I just have to keep it under control with my diet or whatever. That's what my doctor told me. So anyway, I got gout, and I was like, that's when I realized, like, okay, I need to change something over here. I didn't know if losing weight was gonna fix my gout because I know people that look like they're in shape and they have gout. But I figured I needed to do something, and plus I wanted to lose weight. And then I started listening to podcasts. And then there was one podcast. So I used to work at an office in downtown Honolulu. It was a health insurance office, and I worked in the mailroom. So I had a lot of like time to just like listen to stuff. And I got really into podcasts, and I listened to it was the one. I'm trying to remember the guy's name. It was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and Mark Sisson, this guy named Mark Sisson, he was like a proponent of the paleo diet or whatever. So I listened to him, and I was like, I'm not, I like listening to stuff, and if it sounds like it makes sense to me, then okay, yeah, I'll try it out. I mean, you talk all this science stuff and back it up, and I'll read it and I'll semi understand it. But if it makes sense to me, I'll think it's like worth it to try it out, right? So I started doing that. And I started losing weight, just eating that way. It was like a lot of whole foods. I cut out the carbs completely. He was also talking about like the ketogenic diet, right? And so I started following kind of like what you should eat if you're following this kind of, if you're eating in this kind of way. So I was just eating a lot of fats, not a lot of carbs, and moderate amount of protein. And I was just dropping weight, dude, like every week, like pounds were coming off like every week. And I wasn't working out at all. And that's when I realized that a lot of, when people talk about like being overweight and trying to get to a certain weight or whatever, if you're trying to gain weight or you're trying to lose weight, I learned that like working out is maybe, what is it, like 20% of it, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so your diet. And that's one thing I learned. It was like almost 100% your diet. Cause I wasn't working out. I'd go to the gym sometimes, but I wasn't really focused. I was just kind of like going through the motions while I go to the gym, but I did walk around a lot. But the diet, just what you put into your body makes a big difference. And I dropped I'm sitting at 200 now, but I hit like 170 at one point.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was like 170. I'm trying to get back down there, but I got to figure out like the right way to do it. Cause like when I got to that point, I wasn't feeling as strong as I feel like I should have been. So I'm trying to figure out like a way to do it where I can maintain my strength and keep training and then be at that weight healthily, I
I
guess.
think I can educate you a little bit about it right now. Are you eating
Yeah.
carbs? Are you eating carbs currently?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because carbs are going to be the main source of fuel for when you go to jujitsu practice, if you're doing strength and conditioning, if you're hitting hits. Every single time you get into that high heart rate mode and you're pushing the pace, you need carbs. And so you
Yeah.
need to make sure you're eating them pre-workout. And then after you work out, you need to eat them as well because you need to replenish all of the glycogen storages that you burned off from training. Yeah, so you got to make sure you're doing that repeatedly, like eating carbs before workout, and then making sure that you have your carbs, protein, vegetables, and fucking lots of hydration, and you're sleeping at least 7 hours. And
Oh man, the sleep's a big one.
yeah, bro.
I used to run on 4 hours, bro. 4 hours of sleep. And I was like, no. Yeah. So I started getting like this is like a sleep function on your phone now where it like tells you how much hours you can set how much hours you want. And I've been using that as well as like self-medicating before bedtime. Well, I've been smoking a lot of CBD. CBD like really helps with my sleep. Like I noticed that like when I when I take CBD before I go to bed, when I wake up, I feel like super well rested versus when I don't. I feel like I wake up, I'm like, I wanna stay in bed and stuff like that. But yeah, the sleep's been like a big thing the past couple of weeks because I just started getting like around 7, like averaging 7 hours like over the past couple of weeks, and definitely makes a big difference when I go to training the next day, as well as the carbs. I was trying so hard to cut out carbs when I introduced them back into my diet, along with the training at the new school, the new jiu-jitsu school. Like I'm like good to go.
Yeah, bro. So you lost all the, so I just before you, I had an episode with a dietitian and she explained
Mm,
about how when people go on diets, they usually cut carbs and they lose a lot of weight because they're losing water weight because carbs
mm,
hold onto water.
yeah.
So most of the weight that's coming off is just water weight. It's not essentially body fat. And if you do that for long periods and then you try to start working out after, and you're
Mm,
on low carbs, it's just like trying to run a sprint, but you fucking never fueled up before, you know what I
mm,
mean, before the actual event. So you need to fuel your vehicle pre-workout, post-workout with carbs, and with each diet, I mean with each meal. If you have like she talks about like this plate theory, like if you have a circle plate, if your goal is to lose weight, you should have half of your plate vegetables and then
mm,
1/4 carbohydrates and 1/4 protein. And as long as you can make that happen with at least 3 meals a day, you know what I mean, then you can manage your weight because the vegetables are going to keep you full with the fiber and it's going to give you all the essential
mm,
micronutrients to keep your body sustained and going. You're having the carbs to keep for the energy to replenish your energy storages, and then you have the protein to keep building the muscle. And did you know that carbohydrates and protein have a fuck, what was the word? they work together because once you
Synergistic effect.
synergistic effect on muscle protein synthesis. That's the fucking word. Carbohydrates and protein have a synergistic effect on muscle protein synthesis because when you eat carbohydrates, your body releases insulin. And insulin is kind of like the gatekeeper to bringing all of the other nutrients like protein and vitamins to the muscles where it needs to go. So if you're not eating carbs to activate the insulin, then you're not going to be able to be as efficient with putting the nutrients to where they need to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're like, if your insulin doesn't spike, you're not getting all the good stuff. Maybe some of it, but not all of it. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to never worry about fucking blood sugar and shit because like my mom was a nurse in dialysis, and I used to think like blood sugar was for fucking diabetics and unhealthy people. But I'm realizing now, like, we gotta fucking pay attention to it, dude. Like, you know how you feel throughout the day. You want to have like a healthy, steady blood sugar throughout the day. When you eat, it should be like a steady rise and like a steady fall. But like when people are eating fucking high sugary stuffs like fucking ice cream and cakes and fucking fast food.
And they spike it and then crash.
And then they crash. And that's why you feel that fucking, I feel fucking like shit, like sleepy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The goal is to eat more whole foods like what you were doing and maintain meals throughout the day so you can keep a nice steady wave of your blood sugar.
You don't want to be on a roller coaster.
Yeah, a nice steady roller coaster. Not one of those
bunny slow. You want the bunny
California
slow.
Adventure Park.
Yeah, okay, I feel it.
Yeah, so there's some wisdom on that because
nice.
Yeah, that's a trip, bro. That you lost all that weight, and it took you to fucking getting gout and being on crutches to have to for that to be the catalyst. Be like, I got to do something about my health, man.
Yeah, because I want to, I've always wanted to be, because I was always a big kid. I was always overweight, but I always wanted to be active, I wanted to live an active lifestyle. I skated and I played basketball a lot, but I felt like a lot of times my weight was like a prohibiting factor. I couldn't do as much as I wanted to do because I was overweight. So just me getting gout was like the straw that broke the camel's back. But once I lost all that weight, all of this stuff opened up to me like, oh, I could do this now. I could do that, I don't think maybe I could have still been doing jiu-jitsu, but I do feel a lot better about myself doing something as intense as jiu-jitsu at the weight that I'm at now.
So the weight before was weighing you down and preventing you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. The weight before was weighing you down and preventing you from living your best life.
Yeah.
And that's something that can be applied for a lot of people, because I'm sure there's a lot of people listening to this who are fucking have that same mentality. They want to fucking be active. They want to do fun shit, but they're just heavy.
Yeah, stuff. This just gets harder the more. Yeah, exactly. The weight is like weighing you down, and I'm still trying to. I'm not exactly where I want to be, and I'm still trying to work on it. I'm still trying to figure stuff out, but I kind of know like the basic directions I need to go to. Like I know when I'm fucking up, basically. When I have like, oh man, work this week. It's like so I work at FedEx and they have this thing called like the Purple Promise Week. It's like Spirit Week, but for us, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And every single day we've been getting like, because purple is like the company color, we've been getting like ube flavored desserts like every day. Like the first day was like ube donuts, the next day was like ube cookies, and I'm just like, oh man, I know this is all gonna be bad for me. I try to say no. I said I turned it down a couple times because I knew I was like, I can't have all this dessert. And the messed up thing is like they bought so much food and they had all these leftovers, and at the end of the day nobody wanted to take them home, and I'm just like, I felt so bad about all that food just being left. So I ended up taking home like trays of like poi donuts and trays of these like ube crunch, and I'm just like, oh, okay, hopefully my family gets to this before I do. You're gonna have like speed bumps like that along the way. That's kind of the stuff that I have to deal with because of the kind of lifestyle that like my peers and like my family like live.
Well,
but it's
not necessarily, bro. Like I said, I just got off the fucking another episode with this dietitian, and one of the big things that she preaches is that you shouldn't have anxiety from eating foods that you enjoy. You know what I mean? Like life is too short to eat perfectly all the time, but it's also too. Well, no, the quote is life is too long to eat perfectly all the time and too short to fucking eat terribly all the time. Like you got to have that balance. So like if it causes you anxiety for certain foods, like it shouldn't, like you should have a good relationship with food. And if you want to have a fucking poi donut or try some of the fucking desserts, you can, but you just should do it in moderation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't eat like 12 of them.
Yeah, don't fucking eat yourself to death. Just have a couple, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And then when you're
Like
just
enough to
full,
know, okay, this
yeah,
is why it's good. It tastes awesome. Now
yeah,
you
you
know.
should enjoy it because you know you're
Yeah.
with your lifestyle, you're gonna work out anyways. It's not like
Yeah,
you're just
yeah.
gonna sit around and fucking let yourself get back to 300 pounds again.
Yeah.
Fucking have a donut, man. Enjoy your life a little bit. And
Have a
just intentionally have it in mind. Be like, okay, well, that's just I can work this off later. It's all good.
yeah.
There's a lot
That's
of people.
yeah. The anxiety on the food that was a big thing that I had to work through too. So I learned about this like style of eating called intuitive eating.
Yes,
And I
sir.
tried doing that because that's supposed to like it helped a lot of people, like even people who had like eating disorders and stuff, like get past their or like help develop a good relationship with food. So I kind of like followed some. I was just watching a bunch of like YouTube videos on these like intuitive eaters and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay. So I tried that. I was coupling that with intermittent fasting, like intuitive eating and intermittent fasting, and that I got like really good results with that. Man, yeah, I always feel like eating like have, okay, you live in Makakilo, right? Or you've been
Yeah,
in Makakilo?
yeah.
You know Malama Market?
Llamas, dog.
Dog, their spicy ahi poke bowls are so fucking good. I don't know why. I don't know why they're so fucking good. And every time I'm like, I feel like eating something I want to eat, and it's always that. So I gotta go spicy Malama Market spicy ahi poke bowls, and you gotta have it with the sauce. I don't know what the fuck they put in the sauce. It might be crack, but it's really fucking good. Yeah, I
Bruh,
mean, you know what I'm talking about,
it's all good. That's carbs, like I said, post workout.
yeah.
Fucking poke bowl. You got the carbs post workout to
Uh,
energy. You got the protein to build the muscle. You got some fats in there for fucking the fat part of your macronutrients. It's all good, man. You're just missing a little bit of vegetables, and
yeah.
but ain't nothing wrong with a fucking
Yeah.
poke bowl, homie. Shit, that's good for you,
They
man.
got those out there. They got poke spots out in the Philippines.
They do in the malls, but they're fucking, what's the word? They're
They're like
real.
the American ones.
No, they're real generous in Hawaii with the poke. You know what I mean? They'll fucking throw that shit on the rice. But
Yeah, they'll dump it on.
they're skimpy over here, bro. They give you like a
uh,
quarter of a cup of some poke and
it's like a
fucking like,
poke shot.
yeah. Fucking poke shots over here, dude. It's not cool. I miss Hawaii, man. Every day. All
Mm.
the time. Bro, fucking A. We're supposed to only be doing an hour, but do you mind if we make this like an hour and a half? Because I really like the way this conversation's going.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm chilling. I'm
Cool.
just kind of sweating. Yo, let me turn on my fan real quick.
Sure, I'll
'Cause
pause
I'm
it.
like,
Let's go. All right. So I saw you reading the book, The Art of War. I've heard that already from one of my other guests. I never read it myself yet, but what are
Art
some
of War or War of Art?
War of Art? Sorry, yeah, War of Art.
I have both.
Uh, I think War of Art was the one that my friend was talking about, and then when I was looking through your stories, you posted about it as well.
Yeah, that's War of Art. That's by I forgot the name of the author, but he also wrote this dope book called Gates of Fire about the 300 Spartans and the Battle of Thermopylae. So if you haven't read that, it's by the same author. It's like a historical fiction book
Wow.
where he kind of like dramatizes the Battle of Thermopylae. So like the 300 Spartans, dude. So if you want, check
Gates
it
of
out. It's by
Fire.
the same author. Gates of Fire.
Okay, I wrote
Because
it.
like the place where they fought at was called the Hot Gates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check that out. But talk to me about the War of Art, like because my other friend was bringing it up too. So I never read it myself, but what are some concepts that you could share?
I like skim through it
Oh,
fairly quickly. Like it's a fast read, and I skimmed through it. But from what I got out of it, the War of Art is basically about this concept of something called resistance, and resistance is basically something that prevents you from doing what you want to do, and to get past like that resistance by just like in like different ways on how like you can break through it, and because resistance is a powerful thing, right? So let me break. For example, every day I try to go to jiu-jitsu every day, Monday through Friday, and then sometimes on Saturday. And jiu-jitsu training is like really rough. And I wake up and I'm like, my body's aching from the day previous. I'm just like, oh man, I don't feel too good. I try to find little things like, oh, my ankle kind of hurts. I don't know if I could roll or whatever like that. But then you got to remind yourself, like, yo, no, that's just resistance speaking. And that's what the book is talking about. It's like little things like that stop you from, it's like a mindset thing, little things like that stop you from like doing something that you want to do, because you really want to train, you really want to get good at this, but then what, because your ankle is sore a little bit, or your back is a little stiff, or your neck kind of hurts. And what I found, like how I break through that kind of resistance, is that I just start moving. Like, even though I'm hurting, I'm at home, like in the comfort of my own home, I start moving. Once I get warmed up, I feel ready to go. And then I go to class, and after class, after a good training session, I'm always like glad that I went. And so that book talks about like ways to break past resistance. Another example is like I'm trying to think of a way to like bring it around to like the creative stuff. So let's say you want to, like, I don't know, paint a picture, paint like a really nice picture. You want to be like an artist and you want to get good at painting a picture. A lot of people are intimidated by just staring at like a blank page. Like, okay, what am I going to draw? What am I going to do? Like, oh, I need to come up with some like grand image that people will like. But, if I don't come up with something that looks nice, people won't like it or whatever. And all these like little thoughts get into your head. And then, you dwell about it for like 10, 15 minutes, and you're still staring at a blank sheet of paper. You know what I'm saying? And I think one of the like techniques was to just start. I don't know if it was from the book, but I heard an artist probably like tweeted it, or like I was watching it on a video, but talking about staring at that blank sheet of paper is intimidating. So what you should do is just start drawing. Just start drawing anything. It doesn't even have to be like something that looks like anything, just a bunch of scribble lines, just like get something on the paper. So you just start getting in the motion, kind of like how I would wake up in the morning and just start moving. Just get a blank piece of paper and just put something down on it that just gets you going, and then you're already broken past that form of resistance. That blank piece of paper isn't blank anymore, so it's not that hard to put something on there. It's not that hard to put like your pen in the paper and then draw a line, just draw some more lines, and then eventually it'll start looking like something, right? And I think that's what that book is trying to preach, is like different ways of breaking through that resistance, that thing that's keeping you from creating or working out or training or writing a song or painting a picture.
So it's the same way with writing too. Like if you have creative slumps with your poetry or writing song lyrics, like sometimes it's just write shit out and then try.
Dude, I would just write my thoughts sometimes, and they would be so random. Like it doesn't even need to make sense, but yeah, when I would like try and come up with ideas for a song, I would just write what I'm thinking. Just put words to the pen or put words to the page. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's powerful, dude. Yeah, because a lot of people just get so stuck in their own heads, man, and it's a fucking shitty place to be. And the best way to get through it is just get moving, like you said. And once you get warmed up and you realize, all right, I got this, I can do this, and things start connecting and the flow state starts happening. Oh shit. Then you unlock fucking super powerful. So, but it's normal, right? Like, especially you as an artist, like everybody goes through these creative slumps, like the ups and downs. It's not something that people should freak out too much about, because it's a normal part of life.
Yeah,
But
it is.
I think with those with those slumps comes opportunities, right?
Right. What is that? Is it when one door closes, another one opens and stuff like that, right?
Exactly. It's like every opportunity, every moment that you're down and there's negativity is an opportunity to face that with the complete polar opposite of like, yeah, no, fuck, I got this. I can do this. It's all good. So that's something good for mindset. So if people are listening and y'all want to fucking write a song, y'all want to fucking paint a picture, just fucking do some shit and just get moving and make shit happen, and then you'll gain more confidence the way.
That first step is always the hardest, man. But if you just take a bunch of first steps, I feel like taking first steps will be a little easier, you know.
There's that quote.
I'm gonna start my own quote book, like Jon Cozy philosophies.
Bro, you should, bro. I got this. My girlfriend got me this little notebook like this, and
Yeah.
write down little fucking quotes of life and shit just in here. I'm gonna make a little book. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea, dude.
Yeah,
I tried journaling. It wasn't for me. A lot of bad energy went into those pages.
that's life too, man. That's
uh,
powerful shit. Bad energy is sometimes even more
yeah,
powerful than the good energy. Sometimes you can get
yeah,
some good
yeah.
content
Or
from it.
releasing the bad energy. It's
Yeah.
probably always better for you, right? Yeah.
I've written some pretty dark shit that turned out pretty good. Just, you
Mm.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
might do that. I'm gonna start just writing like little things that I think of.
yeah, man.
Actually, shit.
There's that quote, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And that's pretty much sums up what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes, sir. So if you could do a collaboration with any hip hop artist, top three, who would be like the dream? Uh,
Oh my god, that's such a hard question.
at least like give
The
the top
dream
three. Come on, top three.
top three, top
I
three.
feel
Oh
like
my god,
Tupac is going to be one.
Tupac. You know,
No.
not really, because I feel like our styles are just way too different. Like I would want when I look for a collaboration, I want to compliment. We want to when I we want to kind of bring out the best in each other, right? And that's why me and Josh work so good, is because we brought out the best in each other and we gelled so well. So you kind of want to compliment each other in a collaboration.
Mm.
And like I modeled a lot of the stuff. Like I'm not as lyrical, but I feel like I could hang on a track with him. And this is saying a lot. I don't know if this is just my ego talking, but I feel like I could. I feel like I could, but I feel like I could be on a track with Eminem, dog. That was like
Hey.
my fucking. He's like my number one favorite rapper.
Nice.
Like just, oh man, the Marshall Mathers LP, his second album, the Marshall Mathers LP. I used to be able to just rap the whole thing like front to back, like I knew the lyrics word for word, dog. I was so into that like album, and that's where I got a lot of my influence from. Even the stuff I would talk about, I was like, okay, this guy's talking about all this weird, fucked up shit. Why can't I?
Yeah.
So I started like, kind of, I kind of like allowed me to express myself in that way. I was like, okay, I want to express myself this way. So I decided. So I feel like that would be like the number one collab. Number two.
No
I'm
pressure. No pressure. Take your time.
trying to think who I've been listening. I'm trying to think who I've been like listening to recently. Oh, dog. What do you call? What are they called? I can't believe I forgot their names. Oh, those Brockhampton dudes. Have you heard of them? They're like these kids from like all over the country that all moved into like a house together, and then just to make music together. And I like their stuff a lot. Their stuff, because like their whole like independent movement, right, kind of reminds you of like when me and my homies were like trying to come up in the game. So I feel like we could relate on that, be on that same like grassroots independent hip hop wavelength. And okay, third collab. Oh man. I'm just gonna say Wu-Tang Clan. Just
Hey.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Keep it
I feel like
classy.
I could drive it in. That'd be cool. I'd want to work with them. They seem like cool dudes.
Badass. Eminem, the Brockhampton. What are they? A group? Brockhampton. What do you call them?
Yeah, they're like a group. Like there's a bunch of them. I want to say there's like a dozen of them dudes, right? They're like a rap group. Yeah, just because I like their style.
And the Wu-Tang Clan. So if there were like aspiring artists, like because the rap game's not easy, man. There's fucking a bunch of rappers out there, and especially in
It's
Hawaii, coming
not.
up in a hip hop scene, like there's not really that much of a hip hop scene. It was you guys that were really
Yeah, we all kind of know each other. That's how small it is. Like the scene out here, we all know each other basically.
I mean, I think the concepts will go universal no matter what part of the world. So what's some like what are the biggest mistakes you made as a rapper as far as trying to get your name up that you learned from, and some wisdom for upcoming like artists, like rappers specifically?
Falling victim to like the ego game, like a flex. Cause like rapping is such a egocentric like art form because you want to be the best, you know, you want to tell people you're the best or whatever. And I feel like it gets tired, man. There's so much politics, especially in like our local scene. There's a lot of politicking, and there's a lot of thought that, oh, we got it harder because we're on an island, you know, it's harder for us to get our music out there, you know, and for people to hear us, and you know, nobody from Hawaii is gonna blow up. But I feel like that's like the wrong mindset. Like your mindset should be like, you should be creating the art because you love it, not because you want the plays, you want the followers, and you want the likes, and you want the views. I feel like all that comes with, I mean, granted, it is harder because you're on an island getting your music out there, but I don't know, like just from an artist perspective, I feel like, you know, that shouldn't be your main concern. Your main concern should be like sharpening your skills, right? And expressing yourself in like the best and truest way you could. And I feel like a lot of rappers over here get caught up in the whole like, the whole ego thing, you know, the views and the likes and the stuff, and like even going so far as to buying fake followers and stuff. Like I can see it. I know you don't really have like 50K followers and only like 30 people are liking your pictures, dog. Like you can see that shit, you know. So what's the point? How much did you pay for that? It's not worth it. Even if you had like 50 real followers versus 100,000 fake ones, I'd rather take the 50 because they're real, you know. So that's one thing. Like see what other,
That's powerful.
what was the question again?
Wisdom to the rap artist. But I mean, you said falling victim to the ego. That's powerful. It's not just, that's also universal, not just in the rap game, but in general. No matter what it is that you do, if you get good at it and you believe your own hype too much, then it puts you in this mindset to where you don't have any more room left to grow. But the thing you learn as an artist, as a martial artist, especially in jiu-jitsu, is you gotta keep learning, bro. You gotta keep learning. You gotta keep that white belt mentality, or else you'll never grow. You'll never get better.
Yeah. I heard that. It's like I always see these on like quotes, like jiu-jitsu quotes. Oh, a black belt is a white belt who never quit. And I fucking love that quote, dog. Because it's like, you're right. He just never stopped showing up. And then he got his black belt. That means anybody can do it, because anybody can be a white belt. Yeah. Everybody starts at that. And if you don't quit, if you just keep going, and then eventually, you know, the belt's going to turn black, right? I think I like that.
I like how you said sharpening your tools and expressing yourself genuinely. That should be the goal. It shouldn't be trying to go for fame. It should just be constant work on yourself. That should be your goal. And the genuine expression, that shit's powerful too, man, because a lot of people don't really have a medium to really express themselves, like jujitsu, like fucking writing poetry and shit. And it's stuck in them. And you know, when you have all this fucking stuck, bent up energy, this shit sucks.
It does. Sometimes it makes me sick, dude.
Yeah, it will.
Like I want to do this. Like I want to do all this stuff, but like if I don't, you know, release all this creative energy somehow, then I kind of like, I get kind of, I feel some type of way. Yeah. Everybody needs an outlet. It's just finding like the right way to do it, and the drive to want to do it too.
I agree, bro.
Yeah.
What is the favorite song that you've ever composed, and why? Like, what was the story behind it? Do you have a favorite song?
The favorite song I ever composed. Oh man. There's honestly, like I don't put a lot of thought into like some of the songs I do. I mean, I do probably like outside of just, it's like me taking a drive, right? Or me driving to work. I'm like thinking about the song. But like when I'm writing a song in the moment, sometimes I'm just like, it's just a stream of consciousness that I'm writing down, and then I'm making it rhyme. And then I don't know if I'm unique to this style of writing, or maybe other people do it too, but a lot of times I will just write what I think I sounds cool, and then I'll add meaning to it to myself later. Nobody would ever know this unless I told you, because most people will write something and they're thinking about something, but me, I'll just write something, and then I'll like reflect on it and be like, okay, this applies to this situation that happened, or this applies to this other situation that happened. So that's how I would write. So, okay, favorite song that I composed. Oh man, there's a lot. I kind of like they're all my babies, dude. How do I pick one? Except maybe the Ill Hill stuff. I'm not, like I said, I think that stuff's corny. I know people like it, but me personally, I feel like it's corny. Oh, the You're My World, right? You like that song, right? I can explain that one. So that song, I really like that beat. So the beats from the song by this artist named Gout. And I just really like that song. I really like that beat. And then me and Quality wanted to rap on it. It was for like some mixtape project where it was like all cover songs. So like we could like rap on other people's beats or
Yeah, I
whatever.
remember that. Yeah.
And so that song, if you like listen to the lyrics, it was a lot of, the song's called You're My World. So there was a lot of like geography, like wordplay, and then the whole idea was me taking it from the earth, and then Quality takes it to outer space.
Oh,
If you like really listen to the lyrics, there's a lot of like, we're talking about like lava or something, and
yeah.
because the You're My World, I feel bad because like I'm trying to remember the lyrics as I'm saying all this stuff and I can't. But it's like yeah, that was like the whole concept behind that. And a lot of the love songs that I wrote, a lot of the songs that are about like girls or relationships or the like heartbreak stuff, like I love those songs because all those songs definitely come from like a very real place.
Yeah.
And they're like, they're not all specifically about any one person, but they're kind of all just an amalgamation of all my experiences. And I just like I write the songs to kind of fit the vibe or what I'm trying to. A lot of those songs are like of how I feel or how I felt, and I'm just trying to express that. It's just like me trying to express myself because I'm a very like, I can be like an extrovert. But I'm very introverted. I don't really talk about like stuff a lot. So like writing stuff is kind of how I like let it out, I guess, and share it. So a lot of the love songs, there's this song. Well, I can't even remember the, the titles of my songs, bro. But if you go to Jon Cozy on Spotify, a lot of the songs in there, every song that I put out, that I actually put out, because I have a lot of songs that I haven't put out, but all the ones that I put out, I do like, especially the love songs, because I feel like I don't know, I express that side of me very well. I don't know if are you into astrology?
A little bit.
I have like I have like an elementary understanding of astrology, but so I'm gonna get a little astrology here. My son is a Leo, so that's a fire sign, and that's kind of like that's like the extrovert, personality traits. I think that's like my rapper side or whatever, because you're very, I want the attention, me, very egocentric. And so that kind of correlates with my rapper persona, I guess. But my moon, which is like my internal being, I guess, is Cancer, which is a water sign, which is very like emotionally connected, feminine characteristics, and that's like who I am on the inside. So the love songs and stuff is like me expressing that inner part of me that I don't really share with a lot of people. So those really mean a lot to me. Actually, one of the love songs that I did with Josh, that Josh is on, are a lot of my favorite ones. Yeah, the ones that me and him did together. Just talking about, it's like unrequited love type stuff. You know what I mean? That's a very relatable thing that I feel like a lot of dudes don't like to talk about, but I don't care. I'll make hella songs about it.
I think that's awesome that you guys can tap into that side, because a lot of people, they think with this whole masculinity thing that they are only allowed to feel one certain way, and they don't want to acknowledge those other feelings, like these romantic love feelings, these hurt feelings. And
Yeah.
you actually acknowledging them, you transform it into something like this music, combining it with the beats and the feeling that you're feeling of the beats with the memory, like it's fucking powerful stuff, dude. And it's
Yeah.
because you're acknowledging both sides and you're able to
Yeah.
use the feminine and the masculine side to put this shit together. And I think if
That's
people learn
one thing that, yeah, that's one thing that Tupac really did very well. He would be this gangster thug dude, right? Screaming thug life and stuff. And he would make a song called like Do for Love, you know, he'd make love songs too. So it made it, you know, it kind of normalizes that masculine feminine duality of people in a very masculine genre such as rap music, you know what I mean, where it's all about like bitches and guns and stuff, and that's what people like. Some people like, and sometimes it's cool, you know, I get hype on it too. I'll turn it up sometimes. I'm like, yeah, you know, bump it in the trunk and shit. But you know, there's I like a broad spectrum of like different things to listen to. You know, sometimes I like the gangster stuff, sometimes I like the corny stuff. You know,
time and place for it all. But I think
yeah,
if we're to just open their mind to that whole duality, that yes, you can be screaming out thug life and at the same time still write a love song about your girl and love your mom at the same time. Like it's all right.
yeah,
Okay, guys. You don't
yeah,
have
for
to be a
sure.
fucking toxic masculine, like you know what I mean, meathead, just fucking roar all the time.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it.
Oh God. Oh, dude, we are an hour and almost an hour 20 minutes in. Let's end it with the last two things. So I have these 7 pillars of optimal health that I've been like developing and kind of preaching to all my online clients and stuff. And I want to share them with you, and I want you to comment on them, agree, disagree. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
number 1, functional breathing.
Yo, so I've been hearing a lot about breath work because my friend Rihanna, I see her talking about breath work a lot. I haven't looked that into it, but I've heard that there's like the way you breathe is like super important. Like I heard like the mouth breathing thing is like the mouth breathing, like breathing through your nose is supposed to be like really good for you, right?
Yes.
From what I've heard.
So let me enlighten you real quick. So
Yeah.
I just read this book called The Oxygen Advantage, and the author talks about the power of nasal breathing and how the main problem with people nowadays is that they're over breathing. What he means by over breathing is that they're excessively breathing out through their mouth. And you're aware that we inhale oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide, right? People think carbon dioxide is this waste gas that's supposed to go out. But they found in research, scientific research, that carbon dioxide is actually the catalyst for oxygen to be released into our body. So we need higher levels of carbon dioxide in our bodies. So if we're always mouth breathing, then we're lowering the levels of carbon dioxide. And what happens when there's low levels of carbon dioxide is that the blood vessels will constrict and then the oxygen cannot get through to where it needs to go. But if we can breathe more through our nose and allow the carbon dioxide to build up, the oxygen, the blood vessels will open, and then the oxygen can pass through the blood vessels to go to the muscles, to the tissue, to the organs, to everywhere where it needs to go.
So by breathing through our mouths, we're actually starving ourselves of oxygen? Kind of? We're not getting as much as...
Yes. So people are over breathing. So people have this thought that in order to get more oxygen, you need to keep breathing more, but it's actually reverse. If you want to oxygenate your body more, you should be breathing less. So you should kind of be, yes, you need to breathe less so that you can let the carbon dioxide build up in the body to open the blood vessels to allow for more oxygenation. So how this applies to me in jiu-jitsu is like, you know, when you're rolling and then you're all calm at first, and the next thing you know, you're like, by that time that you're mouth breathing, you are too fatigued. And every time you breathe through your mouth, it's connected to the part of your central nervous system that puts your brain in alert, like fight or flight mode. And you don't want to be in fight or flight mode for too long because it's going to exhaust you, and it takes too long for that energy system to recover. So when you're in jiu-jitsu, how I've applied it to myself is when I'm rolling, I I fucking keep my mouth shut and I make sure that I'm breathing through my nose the whole time. And if at any point I feel like I start breathing through my mouth, then I tell myself, okay, slow it down. You're going too hard. Because you know how it feels when you breathe through your mouth and you keep trying to push, push, push. And next thing you know, your fucking lactic acid builds up and it's like, what the fuck? So nasal breathing, bro. Let that
Nasal
be
breathing.
your fucking your tool and your it's a biohack, literally. And so when you they do breath holding exercises, because by doing breath holding exercises, you're increasing your tolerance to the carbon dioxide. Because usually when people hold their breath, they'll panic a little bit because they're not used to high levels of carbon dioxide. So you should practice holding your breath sometimes, just so you can get used to those high levels of carbon dioxide in your body to allow for more oxygenation of the brain and everything.
Okay.
So
What was the title of the book? The book you were talking about? You mentioned
The Oxygen Advantage.
The Oxygen Advantage. Okay,
Yes,
bad.
by Patrick
I'm looking
McGee.
into it, dude.
Yeah, bro. I read it once. I'm on my second time reading it. I actually interviewed she's a Oxygen Advantage master instructor. She's also a strength and conditioning coach for MMA. And I interviewed her and she shared a bunch of like breathing strategies that she does with her fighters pre-fight, during training. Yeah, because like the way you breathe is directly connected to how you feel. Automatic. Like if you were to take 4 breaths through your nose into your diaphragm, you'll automatically feel a lot calmer. But if you take 4 breaths in through your mouth into your chest, you'll automatically feel way more alert. So it's this mindfulness of the breath and being able to use the breath to activate those different modes, depending on the context of the situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's fascinating, dude. Yeah, I've always heard, I've heard like different things, like, oh, breathe in through your nose, right? Smell the flowers, blow the candle. I've heard that kind of stuff, but so strictly through the nose, breathe out through the nose too.
Strictly through the nose, and only breathe through your mouth if you absolutely need to. But once you feel yourself breathing out through your mouth, try to bring it back to nasal breathing as much as you can. And it's going to be more difficult because you're not getting you're not able to exhale the carbon dioxide and your body's not going to be used to it. But by doing that, you're building adaptations. It's kind of like lifting weights. You're training with more resistance by only breathing through your nose. And not just the chemistry part of more oxygenation, but once you start being more aware of your breathing through your nose when you're rolling and just when you're beat making, when you're going through life, when you're walking, like it just brings this mindfulness aspect. It just anchors you to the present moment. And it just makes life like fucking 2.0 for me.
Life 2.0.
Yeah, it's a trip.
Yeah, I will look at, dude. I'm fascinated by it. Yeah. So the whole breathwork thing, I saw some videos on this dude named Wim Hof, who has like a gnarly breathing technique, and he's like some crazy dude that like, I don't know, skin dives in glaciers or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And he said he claims to like be able to do all these things because of like his breathing method. And I'm curious if that's along the same lines.
His is hyperventilation. So he goes and he's removing a lot of the carbon dioxide, but I don't know what the actual chemistry is behind it. I'm not too knowledgeable about that, but the things that they focus on for the oxygen advantage is different because it's all nasal breathing. And what they want you to do is think of not just how you're breathing, but the chemistry of it. So you need higher levels of carbon dioxide to release more oxygen. So it just makes sense to breathe through your nose more. And they want you to keep that concept in at all times. Also, when you're breathing through when you're breathing, it shouldn't be vertical. It shouldn't be like this. It should be lateral breathing into your diaphragm. You should feel it expanding in your stomach. And your diaphragm goes not just here, but like even back here to your back ribs. So you should kind of imagine like a little balloon in your stomach. And when you breathe, you got to completely empty it, exhale everything out to where like you kind of feel like there's an air hunger. And then when you inhale again, once all the air is gone, then you can expand the diaphragm to allow for more oxygenation. And that just practicing that breathing pattern is optimal for recovery when you train too. Like in between rounds, you know what I mean? Like how long do you rest in between rounds for jiu-jitsu?
Like a minute.
Yeah. So in between that minute, you can feel yourself right? But if you're just breathing through your mouth for a minute, there's no way you're going to be recovered. But if you kind of slow it down, maybe even hold your breath a little bit, then you'll feel your heart rate slow down. You'll feel the mental sharpness come back, and you'll feel the more recovery when it comes to performing.
Okay.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna try this out, man. I'm gonna get
It's
into
a
it.
fucking biohack, bro. It's a fucking superpower. So
I know. Just thinking about like how I breathe when I'm rolling. I do tend to like right before I try to explode into a move or whatever into a position. I'll take like a really big breath with my nose. I'll go, and then, you know,
let me
when I
explain
try
what's
to,
happening. Every time you inhale through your nose, nitrous oxide, you know, like NOS in Fast and the Furious.
yeah,
Nitrous oxide develops in our nasal cavity naturally. So every time you inhale, it's a shot of nitrous oxide into your bloodstream. And what nitrous oxide does to your bloodstream is it opens up the blood vessels to allow for more oxygenation.
so that's what helps me like trying like get
That's
some
why it helps.
explosive action.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why it helps you.
Ah, that's fascinating, dude. Thank
Yes,
you for that
very fucking fascinating.
tidbit. Insane. So that's the first pillar. The first
Yeah.
pillar, breath
Pillar
work.
number one, functional breathing, because no matter what your fucking profession is, what size you are, how physically fit you are, everybody breathes.
Yeah.
So if we can start taking control of breathing more through our nose and being aware of our breath, then that's number one for functional breathing. Number two
Okay.
is mindfulness. Because like you said, you
Mindfulness.
were having such a hard time with the mind-body connection.
Yeah.
Just being
Like
aware
being
of
mindful
yourself,
of where my left arm is. Yeah.
bro, just being aware of your body and being aware of your health in general. Like that mindfulness goes a long way. So functional breathing is one, because once you start paying attention to your breath, then you become mindful. Makes sense?
Mhm.
And then number three is adequate sleep.
Mm.
Number four is proper hydration.
Oh yeah.
Number
That's
five
a
is
big one.
balanced nutrition. Number six is stress management.
Stress management.
And number seven is consistent exercise. And exercise is last because, like you said, like if you can work out super hard, but if your diet is shit, you're not sleeping well,
Yeah.
dehydrated, that shit's not gonna show up. So those are
Yeah. I like how you're so all your pillars, they all kind of like complement each other. Yeah. Is that what you're going for? Like they all
yeah.
kind of like work together to support each other, basically. Yeah, the stress management one is a big one, dude. I see so many, especially like at my job, like or in my line of work. Like I see people who just don't know how to manage their stress. And I've seen it get taken to like breaking points where, I don't know, someone just snaps or flips off or they start doing stuff out of character and something that they shouldn't be doing. And it's because they don't know how to manage the stress, like in a high stress environment. And I don't know, maybe just people just need to know more about stuff like breath work, sleep, hydration, diet, exercise, and stuff like that. So I think these pillars, man, you're onto something. More people know about it, especially people that aren't athletes, that are just working 9 to 5s, because that's a different type of stress in itself, but it's still stress. So yeah, man, those
Bro,
are some good
stress, like
pillars.
you know about cortisol, right? And what cortisol does to the body?
That's the hormone.
Yeah, it's a
Right?
stress hormone. And
Hormone,
if
yeah.
it's excessive, it'll cause like inflammation in the body, and it'll like destroy your body on
Yeah.
a cellular level if
That's
it's
what they give
excessive.
the cortisol shots to people with like joint problems, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But like stress in excessive amounts literally will kill you physically, man.
Mm,
Think that they can just fucking have all this fucked up shit in their head and like past experiences, and they don't fucking settle it. But all that stress accumulated over time, I feel like just it festers and it grows into something super toxic on the inside. And
mm,
people gotta really take care of that. But I mean, if they were to start paying attention to this breathing stuff and realize that the way you breathe is directly connected to everything and the way that you feel, like
mm.
if they could just realize like, okay, next time I'm getting super pissed off, if I just take a couple breaths through my nose, then they can relax and take a couple moments and maybe not make a fucked up decision to go and fucking you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah. Just breathe, breathe. I tell that to like my people sometimes. Like if I see them stressing out, I just yell at them, breathe. You know.
Yeah, bro.
Like
Just
they're in a fight or something, but it's
take
like
that nitrous oxide shot and then even hold your breath a little bit because when you hold
it
your
does
breath,
feel good to
it
breathe.
does, doesn't it? And then another thing is that fucking that gratitude part, dude. Like if you bring
Yeah.
gratefulness to each breath, because you could not be breathing. You know, there's fucking thousands of people taking their last breath every single moment. And here we are fucking chopping it up, taking this shit in for free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real, dude. You got a point there. Man, we're out here breathing. Some people have a hard time breathing. Some people can't even like breathe on their own. You know, they got machines for that.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
dude,
just out here just doing it subconsciously.
well, to everybody listening, hope you guys can bring
Yeah.
some fucking gratitude to the breath that you be breathing right now, because it's
Yes.
some good shit, and that shit is free,
Be
home.
thankful for your breaths.
Amen. Well, bro, we are fucking way over time. Let me just ask you one last question, and then we'll end this up, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
What is your opinion? In your opinion, what is optimal human performance?
Optimal human performance, in my opinion, is feeling good doing the shit that you want to do.
Amen.
I
Sir.
butchered that, dog. Because like if you feel good doing it, that means like you're working optimally, right? Because if you feel shitty, then
Baby.
you're not optimal. But if you feel good doing the shit that you need to be doing and wanting to be doing, then I feel like you're living at an optimal level. I,
Amen.
I think.
Feel good, do what you want to do. That's the best way to live
You
your
feel
best
good,
life.
yeah.
Right?
That's what I have to learn. Because like I said before, when I was like at 170 pounds, it's like, okay, I'm starting to look like how I want to look. But I don't feel like how I want to feel. But now, when I did made some adjustments, I weigh a little more, but I feel good doing what I want to do, like the jujitsu and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm on, that's the path that I want to be on into becoming optimal. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Bro, if you ever
Yeah.
need anything, man, just ask me. I've been doing a lot of research as far as like optimal human performance and best practices. So I'd love to fucking share whatever kind of wisdom I got for you, bro. So,
Yeah, for sure, man.
all right. So feel good, do what you want to do, live your life and enjoy your life. That is the wisdom from Jon
Yeah.
Cozy. This
Man, that's my
fucking
book.
poetic lyricist came up with something so simple. I love it.
Hey.
That's what's up. All right, bro. What are some social medias that the people can like listen to your music, follow you on?
Oh, well, my music is on Apple Music and Spotify under Jon Cozy. That's JonCozy. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jon Cozy, JonCozy. I'm a lot more active on Twitter than I'm on Instagram these days, but sometimes I'll be posting some stuff on Instagram, like what I'm doing. I just like to let people know what I'm up to sometimes, so you can follow me on there to see what I'm up to.
Cool.
And yeah, that's about it.
I forgot to ask you. I was supposed to ask you in the very beginning. Where the fuck did Cozy come from?
Cozy. Um oh man, I'm gonna hate telling this, but okay, so my old DJ name used to be DJ Care Bear. DJ Care Bear. Cause I used to have these girls at high school, dude. Like I was a big dude, so I was like, oh dude, you're like a teddy bear. There was this girl that called me teddy bear, and then it turned into Care Bear. And then my favorite animal is penguins. And there's this in the Care Bear universe, they have these things called Care Bear cousins, and there was a Care Bear penguin. So, and its name was Cozy Heart Penguin, and I was like, "I DJ Cozy."
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then the Jon Cozy was from Kapolei, our friend Kapolei.
Calais the Monk.
Yeah, she's the one that put it together. She's like, "Oh, Jon Cozy," and that's how I
Ah,
got Jon Cozy. She like just
nice.
put the two together, and that's how I got my name. Yeah, so that's that's how my name.
That's
Fucking Care
adorable.
Bears.
You're a fucking Care Bear penguin cousin, bro.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
what's up.
stuck, dude. So everybody just calls me that. Nobody ever calls me John. It's kind of weird when they do. Everybody's just Cozy. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go follow Cozy on Spotify, Apple Music, IG, Twitter, all that good stuff, and go check out his music and go appreciate his musical genius. Cozy, I appreciate you for being on, bro. This is a fucking awesome conversation. Maybe we can do another one in the future.
Hell yeah, I'll be stoked, dude.
Yes,
Hell
sir.
yeah.
All right. Shout out to the 96707 and the 808 State. This is Mikuni Munsayak signing out. Aloha, ladies and gentlemen.
Mahalo for listening to another episode of Friday Night Kunani Patrol. Feel free to follow my journey at Kunani Patrol on Instagram and Mikuni Munsayak on Facebook. Also, be sure to click that like button, comment at least one thing that you learned from this episode, and share this episode with at least one person. Lastly, if you wish to support my journey, click on the Ko-Fi link in the podcast description. All donations will go towards creating more content to help you all live your best lives. I am Mikuni Munsayak, signing out. Aloha!
Friday night Punani Patrol.